Welcome back to the Flippin' Ain't Easy channel. My name is John and wanted to talk to you today about something that I noticed that came up in my eBay overview screen. Something that is relatively new, I haven't seen before, and it has to do with your item specifics. And also I wanted to touch on your titles and how that's important, that your titles are optimized for optimum search results. So without any further ado, let's go. So we all know item specifics are a big thing with eBay, and it's something that you as a seller, we all as sellers have to take a lot more seriously when we're putting our listings together. And I can tell you, based on my experience just this evening, that it's something I'm going to be paying a lot more attention to as I build my listings. Every day I check my overview in my seller hub. It's in the overview. It tells me how many items I have to ship, how many returns I may have. It shows me how many eligible items I might have to send offers to people. And so I check that every day because I want to make sure that I'm doing everything that eBay expects me to do. I have a firm belief that that helps you with your search rankings if you clear that out every day. So in doing that this evening, I came across something that sort of threw me off guard. And it was labeled Add Item Specifics. And I had 5 items listed as a to-do type thing. So I clicked on the link for Add Item Specifics. And it showed me 5 items where eBay has flagged items that had some item specifics that were missing, or something just wasn't quite right. So I clicked on each one, and I found, of the 5 that I found that 3 had some issues. Maybe I forgot to put an MPN number or something. And 2 out of those 3 issues where I was able to fix, it was a situation where I left the pre-filled, where it fills in the item specifics based on that particular UPC code for that item. So apparently there's some issues with the pre-filled UPC item specifics. You know, if you let it automatically put the photo and fill in the item specifics, I'm basically seeing that the 3 items that I was working on, 2 had issues with that. So the name of exactly what that is escapes me, but I went in and unselected the option where it takes the UPC information that you put into the listing and it pre-populates a photo for the item from eBay's catalog, along with all the MPN and item specific information. And I think their catalog might have some issues because it's asking me to correct those problems. The other 2 items that I had left over out of the 5, I couldn't figure out. So I called eBay, and it turns out that I was selling a 2-pack of something, and they wanted me to go in and put a lot size of 2. So if you're selling anything in a bundle, custom or not, it could be a package of 2 that comes that way. It might be just the bulk package that you're reselling, and you need to put a lot of 2, 3, 4, whatever, okay? Otherwise, it's going to flag that as being incomplete. The last particular item we had to fix, I think it was something that I needed to fill in just a random specification, but just something for you to watch out for. And I had to call eBay this evening, and of course I have it set up to where I have managed payments call me back, and as many of you may already know, I really don't like dealing with the overseas Philippine office because it is a scripted mess, and you cannot have a natural conversation with many people at all, if anyone. I think I've had a conversation with maybe 1 person in the last 1.5 years where I was able to have a real conversation and not one that was just full of happiness and scripted conversation. I can't handle that. Because as a seller I have real questions and I want those questions answered. So Managed Payments called me, and I love it when I get a eBay employee who actually also sells on the platform, because they, I'm sure, have shared in our frustration. So the information I was given was fairly interesting. You know, we had a conversation about the algorithm that no one seems to know about, and apparently that's by design, because they don't want sellers to game the system and to game the algorithm for their benefit. Okay, and so I guess for that reason the algorithm will always be a mystery to us sellers, and the only thing I can do and recommend to you as well is to use best practices to give yourself the best chance to receive a very good ranking in you know, with whatever you're selling. So when we're talking about best practices as an eBay seller, it's definitely, you want your item specifics to be as complete as possible. This helps your ranking in search, and it also will help you in the Google search. So if someone's in just searching Google, not even thinking about eBay, they may find your item if you have a complete ranking. Now I look at a lot of solds, so when I'm doing inventory search, when I'm checking on an item to see what to sell it for, I'm also looking at other eBay listings, and I can tell you just from experience, there's a lot of sellers out there who are still selling their item with the bare minimum in item specifics, maybe an MPN, a brand, and a UPC number, and that's pretty much it, and they're still selling. It makes me wonder how much faster that item would have sold had they had taken the time to put their MPN along with the other item specifics. So just something to keep in mind if you want to help your ranking, not only with eBay but also in Google. Take the time to fill out the item specifics, and it's also a good idea, don't guess, don't make stuff up just to fill it out, because that will absolutely not help you when you're trying to achieve a higher ranking in the search. So it leads me to another discussion, and that is your title. Your title has to make sense. You know, I got to tell you, a couple years ago while I was in my full-time job, I actually dabbled in the drop shipping business on eBay, and looked into some of the programs to tell you how to drop ship, you know, the things to do, the way to actually get ahead of your competition. And one of those things was to look at titles of items that have already sold for the type of item or the exact item that you're selling. And if you find the exact item that you're selling and something has already sold, go ahead and use that same title. Now, that's a lot different than using someone's pictures, because someone actually owns that picture. They took that picture, they created the environment or the backdrop for that picture and took the time to create that picture. So you should never use someone else's photos. But words are different, you know, especially if you're selling a certain item and you have that same item, okay? Nothing wrong with using the same words. We're here to make money. We're not here to make friends. It's no different than seeing your competitor sell an item for 30 bucks and you come in for 29 to undercut that person. It's part of the business, okay? And so I kind of carried that practice over, looking at items that have sold and sort of utilizing titles. But in just looking at it and my discussion with this rep, it's probably not the best practice, because what you want to do is you want to put your title in such a way to where an eBay buyer would type that into search. So, you know, you wouldn't put, you know, a model number, then your brand, and then maybe the type of item, and then what it is. The way you really want to do your titles, and you really need to go back and just check your titles when you get a chance, because it will help against your competitors if you're selling the same item. We want the number if there's more than one. If there's just one, you wouldn't put this there, but if there's two or more, you'd want to put the number, you want to put the brand, you want to put what it is, specifically what it is, and then any features of that item. So I might be selling, just for the sake of giving you an example, a tankless water heater. Just say something I have to sell here pretty soon. I have a few of them. And so I'm going to put, in this particular case, a brand called Rinnai. Okay, I'm going to put a tankless water heater, electric, because you could have gas or you could have electric. You could put, if it's portable or not, you can put whatever, any other benefits that you have for your title, because if you just put the brand, what it is, and leave everything blank, it's not going to give you any benefit. Words like authentic, genuine, original, save those for near the end of your title. And the word new really isn't all that necessary, because you are already being shown as brand new or used or whatever it may be underneath your title, because you're selecting a condition. So just keep in mind, when you're making your title, think what you would actually type in to a search to find your item, and use that as the basis for creating your titles. I think that'll help you, but use all your space. I don't know exactly how many characters off the top of my head, but find item features that you can plug in if you have extra space, because maybe someone's looking for a light for their house, and maybe they want a specific light, LED versus halogen versus, you know, a ring light, you know. So put that type of information in your title, but save that information for the latter part of your title. Make sure you're loading the front part of your title with your brand and exactly what this item is that you're selling. So that's what I have tonight. Just wanted to make a little video for you here, just to check out. If you can take a look at my setup here, I have in my garage, I have similar to what I had at my other house, but I have it in my garage. It's a much better layout. I have an old dining room table, not really old, it's a few years old. We're not using it here, and so I've decided that I'm going to use that as my table to take photos. So I'm going to use this as my lighting area, pretty much my backdrop. So what I've done is I've bought a vinyl, sort of like a vinyl backdrop. One side of it's glossy, and it's still on the roll down here, because, you know, as this thing gets beat up and scratched, and it will, I'll just cut that part out and roll this up and replace it. But you know, it's great because it's very easy to clean. So if I get dirt on it, I can just take a wet cloth and just clean it up. So just something to consider. But this is kind of how I have my setup. I have my LED lights right there, and I have a light that I turn on if the packaging isn't like a plastic material. If it's a plastic material, it'll have too much shine on the package, so I'll just simply turn it off. So that's pretty much all I have this evening. I just wanted to share this information with you. I thought it was pretty important between your item specifics, your title, and to sort of share my setup here in my garage with my lighting with you, to give you some ideas in case some of you newer sellers were looking for ways or creative ways to set up a lighting setup for your business. So again, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I'm glad to help as many sellers as I can. I'm sure many of you who have left comments can attest to the fact that I'm very quick to get back to you. And maybe you just have a comment, but I may have something to say to that. But I'm always here to answer any questions that you might have. So please leave some comments below if you have any thoughts about this item specific issue with eBay. If you've seen anything that I've described pop up into your overview, titles, is there any sort of strategy that you use to develop a title? And maybe talk about your lighting situation. Do you have something similar set up? Or is your situation a little bit more simplified, where you don't have quite the same amount of room and maybe use one of those lighting boxes? However, this is what works for me. So please like this video if you found any of this information useful. Please consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll be out with a new video here in the next few days. And until then, have a great rest of your week, and make a lot of sales. We'll talk to you soon.